Oh, there we go. Hello. Hello. Okay, I think we're good. Hello, everyone. Have some some coffee here. Sorry, everyone. It's the normal last minute rush to get connected, I guess. What is obnoxious is, well, actually, I got lucky and it worked well. Usually, Bluetooth, my headphones here are what make me late. Because I share these headphones with this computer, my stream computer, and my MacBook, and usually it doesn't wanna work. Okay, it's been a long it's been a long week, a busy weekend. If you are a member on YouTube, you've seen or you have access to another basement, whatever vlog, I guess we'll call it, basement update. Yeah, if you're a member, you can check that out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start slowly, maybe not slowly, maybe I'll do like one a day. I had a short sort of series about how I, not exactly how I redid the basement here, but how I did some of the like the wiring things, like the behind the scenes of how I did the wiring stuff. So I'm going to be making those public. Those were from like 4 or 5 months ago. I'll be making those public in the next week or so. So that'll be fun. I'm taking a mini break. Apologies to Bob from Retro RGB for not getting right to the lag testing that adapter or the MemCard Pro 2 thing. I really do want to do that. That's a goal I have. If you have been with us for the last few weeks, you know that I've been every week I've been trying to wire up this Xbox Series controller that I have, and it's been a giant pain in the butt. Hey, Leon, how old is my home? It's from early 50s, so 1953 or so. Yep. So. So I do intend to get back to that probably next week. I just need a mental break from that because it is it's grueling. I know I should I should have some time. I should spend some time outside of this stream to work on that. Yes, but I have been doing the basement stuff because that has to get going before I have my kids. So, hey, Navigator, how's it going? Okay, so what do we have tonight? It should be, hopefully it's interesting. I'm at a huge retro computer thing again. I'm holding it because it has my son's name on it, and I don't want to, I don't want to, maybe I'll put that over here. Also drinking coffee at 9 p.m. Rip. I was just super tired. It has my son's name on it, so whoops. All right, so I don't know. This might not be zoomed out enough. It's definitely not zoomed out enough. I'm back. Well, I never really left. I mean, I've been on this sort of retro computer thing. I've been collecting things, I suppose, is how I'm going to view it. This is an Apple IIGS. It's pretty good condition. I got it from eBay. And it works fine. Nice. Oh, you got a new Mister. Cool. Nice. Which one did you get? Did you get what's his face's Taki's Mister? Oh, I guess before I'll show the progress. I have been making progress on the Neptune. So I have all the chips finally now. The donor ICs, sorry, specifically. All the donor ICs from both the 32X and the Genesis are installed. If you are intending to build one of these yourself, we have a pretty active little mini community of people in my Discord, with the link should be in the description, of people also building them and answering questions and things. I don't really, people volunteer their time to help people with this sort of thing. So, don't expect somebody to like immediately answer your questions or whatever. But it's an interesting place to ask questions. And since this is the most tedious project I've ever worked on in the existence of this channel. So yeah. So anyways, if you're interested in that, there's definitely some stuff on the Discord for you for that. Okay, so you got the QM Tech. Oh, okay. That's the AliExpress clone one, right? Yeah. So I guess we can test this if you want to. Although the only problem is it's composite only. So basically, let's take a look at the back here. I mean, there's only a few ports that really are of any consequence here. So here's where you plug it in. If you've never seen an Apple IIGS. So yeah, this is the I suppose final revision of the Apple II. So that's kind of why basically I asked on I think Reddit. I said, you know, what is a good vintage computer to kind of start if you're looking to collect things or just you're looking to get your feet wet, I suppose, and you really don't know anything. A lot of people were saying Apple II, just in general, not just the IIGS. But I kind of asked, you know, a follow-up question, not on that post, but just into Google, you know, what's the best Apple II that you can get? And a lot of recommendations went for the IIGS here, and I found it for a good price, and it's good condition. Oh, and it came it came in a box, like it was the original box with the original packaging. I have the original keyboard, Apple Bus keyboard, very good well, not extremely good condition, but it works and it sounds amazing. It's a nice keyboard, I think, in my opinion. It's got the keyboard, got the mouse as well, got the original power cable, got the original manuals that came with it too. So it's very cool. I got a good listing, I suppose. Been happy to replace most of the retro setup. Yeah, I think if your goal is to actually play video games, this year is really good for that because you can kind of set it up and forget it. It is really reliable. It works all the time. You don't have to worry about like finding all the gear and stuff and storing it or whatever. Not really, actually. This was like $200 or something. Like it wasn't that expensive, honestly. I mean, that is a lot of money. But in the scheme of vintage computer things, and especially the one thing that I've noticed about vintage computer stuff in general is there isn't this like, it's hard because I still think that there is some, you know, it's not like open source all the things, right? Even, you know, retro game stuff is not really like that way too because people, you know, they want to make money and stuff on mods and things, but there is more opportunities for open source things. So if you don't have a lot of money and you want to get invested with retro computer stuff or retro console stuff, I mean, there are a lot of options for that to like satisfy like hands-on hardware hacking kind of stuff with retro console stuff. With retro PC stuff, there's less so. I think it's because the demographics are older. And because the demographics are older, they're more likely to have money, like disposable income, or like more disposable income. And sort of because of that, I sort of feel like creators of mods are less likely to just wholesale open source the things. And I don't know if it's that exactly, or if it's just, you know, maybe the wave of open source and just budget friendly sort of modding, maybe it hasn't quite hit retro computer stuff yet. Anyway, so yes, you can get a lot of trouble cost-wise buying retro computer stuff, but yeah, that's kind of what I've been thinking about this entire time, right, is how to get started or how to get the best quality or how to, you know, get, you know, all the game options that you want for cheap or open source. Yeah, it wasn't that bad. Yep. So, yeah. So, anyways, that's just, you know, I have a lot of ideas and things, and just been kind of research, I suppose, general research. So it's not like I'm actively trying to make videos and things or content, except for, you know, these live streams. But It just kind of it doesn't. I guess it doesn't bother me really in the same way that people selling console mods doesn't really bother me. But yeah, I guess I'm sort of privileged in the fact that I have this YouTube channel and people are more likely to like hook me up with something. Not all the time, obviously, but yeah. So I'm just trying to just feel out. There's a stereo mod for the 2GS, huh? I do know it has a. Oh, so let's look at the ports. I guess maybe it's easier to go through it on here. So here's the power plug, obviously, and it's got a switch in the back. This connector here is for the Apple Data Bus, ADB, I guess it's called, which is the keyboard plug, but it is a true bus in the sense of you actually can plug the mouse into the keyboard, and then you can plug the keyboard into the Apple Data Bus. So like it's kind of, you can daisy chain stuff, which is kind of cool. Then there's the composite video, which is, that works normally, whatever. Then this connector here, I believe this connector is the RGB output. And we'll talk about the pin out for that tonight because we're making that cable. This is for an external floppy drive, I believe. I do not, maybe this is serial, maybe, I'm not sure quite what that is. It looks like this is a printer port or something. Maybe this is some kind of like an external modem thing. And I do see headphones, which when Alteration said that there's a stereo mod, I don't know, is this stereo already? Because I know there is a beep, it's an internal speaker, and that's what a lot of the games would use because, the 2GS, the GS, the graphics and sound part of the 2GS, it makes it more advanced for an Apple II, but it is compatible with Apple II things. Okay, so I guess I'll talk briefly about what I did to get it working, although I think it was working, so I really didn't do anything that needed to be done, I suppose, but I took some precautions, I suppose. The era of this computer and basically all Apple IIs, actually, you know what, let's open it up, and I'll at least point out a couple more things. So it has a weird... One cool thing about the Apple IIGS is it's kind of, I can't, for some reason I struggle to take the case off when it's backward. It's kind of toolless, right? So you take the top off without any tools. It has these two like clip things in the back here. So then you're in, right? Apple IIs have 7 expansion slots here, and then they have an additional memory card expansion. So this Apple II has this expansion, but it has these weird glop top chips, which is, I've never seen that before. I do not know what's up with that. If anybody knows what is going on with these chips with the, here, let me focus on that, with the epoxy, yeah, let me know. In this slot here, I have, one of the things obviously about an Apple II or like any computer is how do you boot stuff? How do you run things off of it? And that's the part that kind of I went down the trail of like, well, everything for the Apple II is kind of expensive, right? So like your options for booting things, I guess there's a couple of floppy drive emulators which would work at the port in the back. So you really wouldn't need to buy a card. You could just plug, I think like the Booty or something it's called, or there's a floppy emulator as well or something. Not SCSI. This is not SCSI. This is just a floppy drive. So that's one way that you could boot disks or disks and things. This is this card here is, let me get it out of here. It's called the X Drive, and it's made by this MacFX, or wait, it was designed by JD Micro, but it was sold. I bought it on MacFX. It's basically a block disk emulator, I guess. So it's like a hard drive emulator, I suppose. Not really like a floppy drive emulator, but it does load. You can load floppy images, I believe. I don't know. Not really sure what makes a block drive different than a well, it's Booty spelled with an I. B-O-O-T-I. Anyway, so this is what I've been using to boot drives. And this lives. The interesting thing about Apple II is, actually, we can go to the menu. Well, let's build the cable and then we can go to the menu. And I'll show you. I had to configure I had to configure the Apple II a specific way to get the X drive here to boot. Anyway, so this was kind of like the cheapest way that I found to get started, because that booty device is like, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think it's at least $80 or $90. If you wanted to use something like Blue SCSI, you would need a SCSI card in addition to the Blue SCSI device. So I think Blue SCSI is cheaper than the X drive here. I think the X drive was like $80 or something. But you would also need a SCSI adapter, which on eBay, those can go for like $80 plus. So really you're talking about like $200, $250 or so to get Blue SCSI to work. So it's sort of it doesn't frustrate me, but it's like, you know, I understand that people put a lot of time and effort into designing things. It's the old, like, you know, the bill of materials is not the cost of selling something, but I have to imagine that there's probably cheaper ways to get, you know, loading of thing, but I don't know. I'm not really sure. Anyway, so the whole reason I wanted to take this apart was because I think the first thing, if you're going to get an Apple II, the first thing that you need to do is not even turn it on. Do not turn it on, in my opinion, and you know, the opinions of other people. I think Jeff Chen told me too. The first thing that you should do is you need to take apart the, well, you know, assuming that it hasn't been powered on, and assuming you know what you're doing. Like, don't open this power supply. Actually, it like yells at you pretty hard here. This warning label here pretty much tells you not to open this. It's not user serviceable, the power supply. However, you know, if you know what you're doing, and I kind of know what I'm doing, you know, you can be safe taking it apart and making sure that the components inside look fine. But the most important thing, the thing that you want to get rid of immediately, pretty much before you even power it on, if you are not sure if it powers on, is you need to look for these components. And I kind of just recently learned about these. You need to look for RIFA caps, and RIFA is the brand. That's why they call it RIFA. And you can see the brand. The logo is sort of this interesting block letter RIFA there. What makes these weird is RIFAs. They're called safety caps, and that's what the Y, I believe. I think this is right. This Y on here indicates that it's a safety cap. And what's really interesting is that these RIFAs, you know, they have sort of a lifespan and then they die. But the problem is, because of where they are usually on these schematics, is they're usually shorting like the line voltage of your house and ground. So like if they die, they tend to not explode, but like apparently people say they stink really bad. They like let out the magic smoke, and then but you can see this one didn't die. Like I replaced it before it had a chance to like do that. Hold on, I don't know what's going on with the autofocus. You can kind of see that it's like cracking. It's like falling apart, and this has been probably unplugged in somebody's house for a really long time. So anyways, this is what I had to replace. And so this goes in my bin here, so I remember it. Thankfully mine only had one, but you replace them with these, where is it? Now I've got to find the bag. I don't know. I bought some off of Console 5, but they were taking forever to ship it because they were on vacation or something. So I bought the same caps from Console 5 on Mauser. But there's like a newer type of the same type of cap to replace those RIFAs, and they don't fail the same way. So, you know, that's like the first thing I think that everybody should do if you're comfortable soldering and semi-comfortable taking things apart. Yeah, that's what oh, the rear headphone jack is mono only. Oh, okay. I know there's also the Mockingbird, which it's like a sort of an add-on sound card type thing, and certain games work with it. And there are clones of the Mockingbird, so I would like to travel down that road, like open source clone as well. So a project that I can do a PCBWay, which is nice. I don't know. The replacement cap that I use are floating around here somewhere. Not really sure where they went, but you get the idea. So replace those with a brand new equivalent. Yeah, pretty much. So that's pretty much all I did. And then it was working pretty much. I didn't have to do anything else, which is which is really nice. So I'm going to skip that. What we're going to jump right into is I'm just going to start making that cable. Instead of hooking up composite video and like testing it, I'm just going to make that cable and then we can do it. I don't I hope I can do that within the hour and a half I have left. So we're going to try. So let me bring over some more things here. Okay. I've had this, this is actually a VGA cable. It's a Ugreen brand, specifically one. I don't know. I don't really remember why I bought this. I bought it a long time ago to make something, some kind of a SCART cable or something, because I have all these SCART heads as well. I don't even remember how, you know, this is like a maybe a 10-foot or a 12-foot VGA cable. And what I intend to do, I already cut one of the heads off, or one of the ends off. So here's one of the ends. So this one's already been cut and semi kind of put together. And I'll open this up in a second, and I have the other part of it here. So I will be, right, so it's going to be going from this Apple pinout, right, of the 2GS, which is, it's specific to the 2GS. It doesn't, I don't think it's shared with any other Apple devices. Not even like the older Apple IIs don't have this output. It's basically just because I have the 2GS is the fact that I can make this pretty, hopefully, simple adapter. So we'll dive into this end in a second, but the other end is still the VGA end. So what I want to do is I basically want to take this, and the reason I'm using a VGA, and we'll talk about it, I guess, more in a second, is because the video lines, like at least the RGB lines, are shielded. So that will be nice. The only problem is the sync line might not be shielded. So I mean, maybe this is not the best quality that we can muster, but it should be fine enough for this. You know, maybe in the future I'll get a better one. But I didn't want to spend $30 on a pre-made cable that somebody else made when I could just make it myself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold the cable in half. Because this is such a long cable, it's basically 2 6-foot cables together. I can't even reach it if I spread my arms out. I can't reach the with it folded in half. I can't reach the other side, so it's over 6 feet, the half of the cable, and I'm just gonna cut it with what? That's a good question. This thing, I guess. Okay, see you later. So the VGA end, I'm going to save for another time for something. I don't know. So let's put that away. All right. Okay, goodbye, cable. Okay, so we this is going to be a SCART end, right? So this is going to go into, you know, this can go in my RetroTank 5X or the 4K, right? So we're going to finish wiring that up later, but I figured that we might want to start with this end, the other end, which is going to be what, you might ask. And the what is, let's look up the pinout. This thing is such a beast. It's like, ugh, such a thick cable. Okay, let's get this out of the way too, although we're going to need this and this. Put that stuff away. Okay, so that port that I told you that was on the back of the Apple II, let's find the pinout. So if I just Google, let's put this over here. And then let me go this. Ooh, hello. Oh, what happened to the display capture? Huh? Okay, sweet. So we Google like Apple IIGS video or RGB pinout. Excuse me. Okay, so reactive micro Tinker different. I think there was a website, so I think like, was it this one? Yeah, it might have been this. So I found this article. This is what gave me the confidence to know that I could probably build this in a live stream. So this vintage wear, I guess it's roger.geek.nz, which is New Zealand, I guess. Oh, hey Cooper, how you doing? They're really affordable upgrades. Yeah, I mentioned in the beginning that I have an X drive, which I think is one of the cheapest ways that you can kind of get going, because I didn't have any. I don't have a. I actually found somebody that had a clone Apple SCSI card, so that's coming in the mail. But for now, I have ideas about actually trying to reverse engineer or like clone that and make that open source, because I feel like that's a thing that could be open source. Anyways, also Cooper, while you're here, if you're still here, I want to show you that I got this thing, or maybe you saw it already. I got that the Pentium single board computer thing. I kind of haven't really done anything with it. It's been a while. I talked about it. Some people might already know about it, but if you folks don't know, Cooper was in my Discord. After I built the Micro 8088 project, he kind of built other tiny computers, and he used this single board computer, which is like a Pentium one, to build a Pentium Micro 8088 kind of. So I got the same board that he did. I don't have the backplane though. I didn't order the backplane, but it's really interesting because it has a this disk on chip, which is a Flash IDE device, I guess. And it has all the ports that you might want. It has built-in Ethernet, which is really cool. It has PS2, so it's a really cool thing. It's kind of all in one, and it has USB. So like this is like the perfect Pentium computer. Yeah. So anyways, that's for another time. Okay. So the USB key mod. I don't know what the USB key mod is. Okay, let me go back to the thing. Okay, anyway, so I found this website. So this person sells handmade. So if you want to just buy one, and I didn't want to buy one because I already had the components. Really, the only thing I had to buy, which is this, the actual. This is like a DB15 or the terminology is really weird because it's not a VGA cable. It has more pins. It has 15 pins. But they're in 2 rows. So we'll talk about that again in a second. So the only thing I really had to buy that I didn't already have was this. But this person sells them. So if you have $30 plus shipping, you could just buy it from them already made. So that's an option. But I didn't want to do that. So thankfully they had this article. And really it's the pinout of the SCART connector. Or like that's kind of if you're familiar with retro console stuff, you kind of know SCART, and like, SCART can kind of do a lot of different things, but one of those things is RGB, and that's the reason we use it. But then it also has the pinout for the Apple IIGS video connector, which is what I'll need this thing for here. And really the only things that we need are some resistors. Let me make this bigger. Can I make this bigger? Yeah. The only things that I'm going to need besides the physical connectors are resistors. And I only need 2. I only need one. I need 1 kilo ohm resistor and 1 270 ohm resistor. The other parts of it are really just wiring it up. And really the resistors are used as voltage dividers to, I think it's like these function select. Like it basically tells the SCART head, or like the device that's consuming the SCART head, what like function that it's in, I guess. So you kind of need it to be, it just basically, it expects a specific voltage range. And those resistors are basically making a voltage divider on the 12 volts that's coming from the Apple IIGS video connector. So, and then the other thing I think is this RGB control. That's what it's saying. So pin 8 is what? Pin 8 is that function select pin, and pin 16 is the RGB control. So that, I think that lets the RetroTank, or whatever in this case, know that RGB is on that line. So that should be it. So let's just, I guess, where do we want to start? I guess this part. Now here's a question, I suppose. The backplane is kind of expensive. But sure, yeah, I'm interested in the 3D print. the question that I have, I suppose, is, right, so we're getting, the signals are coming from the Apple II, and they're obviously going to the SCART part, and I need to have these voltage dividers in here, the resistors basically. Does it make more sense to have the voltage dividers in the Apple IIGS end or in the SCART end? And I think the answer to that question is in the SCART end, but I'm not 100% sure about that. Oh, the X drive. Yeah. X drive. Oh, yes. I see what you're saying now. So it's the flash drive, USB drive too. Yes. Yeah, I did a little bit of research, right? Because I know there are a bunch of options. You know, blue SCSI, but that requires a SCSI card. There's a few floppy drive emulator things, but you know, like I can't remember there's like a popular one but that was pretty expensive. So like this was like literally the cheapest way to get something booting. I guess I could always, like, if I had physical discs, which I don't, like if I bought, you know, discs on eBay, I could always buy a disk drive because the Apple IIGS has a drive connector. So I could have bought a physical Apple II drive and did it that way, but maybe in the future I will. So yeah, my question is still, do the resistors for the voltage divider go in the SCART end, or do they go in the Apple II end? And I think they go in the SCART end. Anyway, so with that being said, let's go into the Apple IIGS end, which is this weird thing here. So let's go back to the overhead. And I'm going to make this go down a bit. Okay. Oh, and then I'll put my thing out of whack here. Okay. Yeah, we'll move this over here. Okay. All right, so what is this? This part is the part that screws into the Apple II, which is nice. And it actually opens really easily. It just has this latch. Then it opens here, and it has these screw terminals. So I don't really love the fact that it has screw terminals, but it'll be fine. Oh, can I just take this out? Hey, look at that. I didn't even know that. Actually, you know what? I probably want to leave it in here. Whatever. I don't know. Then I'm going to remove these two, actually. These screw terminal things come out. Okay. So, basically, yeah, here's the 15 pins, and I need to, like, kind of cut, you know, some sort of length. I'm not sure exactly how much I need. Maybe I want to do like that, because if these things are going to make a bend and like go around, I might need some extra length here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that part of the sheathing. Where's my X-Acto? It's floating around here somewhere. Excuse me. And I'm going to try to carefully cut this sheathing without cutting the wires on the inside. If this is possible. So I'm trying not to go very deep with the X-Acto on purpose. Like, yeah, I know that could be a sort of a problem. Let's see if I can do this without, I don't know. Okay, so I have some, it's kind of started over here. I'm just trying to scour it, really, or score it. I mean, not scour it. Score it, really. I don't really want to cut through it. But then the problem is, then how do it's got to have, I don't know. Oh, okay, let's see. Let's see if I can get it started here. You know, oops, this thick cable here hit my keyboard and it switched scenes on me. What's funny is, Somebody commented on, I think it was an Xbox video, Xbox HDMI mod video, and they said like this is a waste of time to that. I'm like, bro, why would you so you like watched it all or something, or watched part of it, and then you like commented this is a waste of time? Like, really? Okay, you guys can watch me struggle in real time. I'm trying to just, if you get a drive and the eject doesn't work, don't fret. Oh, I have heard that the gears break. Yes, I have heard that, and they have people sell 3D printed gear replacements, which is really cool. Oh my God, this is the worst. It's not that I'm weak, but I'm weak. But I'm just trying to be super safe and not like... Oh, I hear something. Sorry, this is really cringe. This like outside sheath part is thicker than it looks. I guess that's what she said. We're like 40 minutes in and I'm struggling to just take this thing apart. Thankfully, the other end is already open, so that shouldn't be too bad. Okay. I also probably shouldn't really wear it because I do see the sheathing or the shielding. So like this VGA cable is kind of, oh, here we go. Okay, let's switch back so I can. Okay, so there is shielding around the whole cable, right? So once I do this, okay, now it's just a matter of getting it off. Oh my God, this is the worst. Guess I should have prepared this cable off stream here. Oh God. I have a disk drive and never use them, so save a bit. Don't bother it. Yeah. I just think it's cool, you know, like, well, also like part of you know, not people not using disk drives is not being able to make the disks themselves because they don't have the disk drive that works. So like having the working disk drive is a big part of being able to use disks, right? So that's kind of why I was thinking about that. This is the freaking worst. If I end the stream, you guys know what's up. Okay, so I like split it. There we go. Almost there. Yes. Peeling like a banana. Yes. Okay. Wow. That was extreme cringe. Okay. Yeah, so the entire thing is shielded. And I think I can kind of do... there's some sort of a... I think I can do... we need to maintain this because this is... actually, I don't know if I need this part. Maybe we'll come back to that. But I need this part at least. Actually, you know what? Let's look at the other end. Did I do the same thing to the other end? Because if I cut it, then it doesn't matter. You could get applesauce or grease weasel if you want to make a disc and use them. So I've heard about grease weasel. Okay, so I just cut that shielding, so I guess we don't care that much. But this thing is like that metal, this part. So I need to keep that because that is actually how you're supposed to ground both the SCART head, like the metal part of the SCART head, as well as the, let's see, is that on this thing here? Apple IIGS. I guess I don't see a specific ground. I see the color ground, which that's what the shielding around the color cables is for. I don't see a specific other ground, so maybe it doesn't matter. How are you supposed to ground? Oh, I remember. There is a special ground pin. I'll show you in a second, but there is a ground pin on this breakout box, which goes to the metal on the plug itself. So you do need to maintain that shielding. Oh, there is this like little. Let's go back to the overhead. This little thing here as well. We'll get back to this guy later. So do one of those. There we go. Grease weasel is cheap and easy to use. I think less than $40 shipped. So what is it? It's just a. It's powered by USB-C. Is this a standalone device or something? Because I've heard of it, but I never really got far into researching it. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to make sure not to rip this and just kind of, we are going to need it. So I want to make a cable out of it. Like that, more or less. I know it's a drive image tool, but is it just like software that you run on your computer? Or is it a USB device? Okay, more or less like this. That's close enough. So we're going to have this thing on one end. So that's going to be our ground for the thing. This ground there, right? So when this cable is in here, this part is just going to go boop right into the ground there. Okay, so it's hardware and software. Okay. All right, I'll have to look it up later because I'm it would be nice to have. I also have a bunch of DOS disks that are not on archive.org. So I do want to archive these disks that I've got. So in the future, I don't have any Apple disks, but I have some IBM or DOS disks. I mean, okay, so our goal is to, primarily we've got the three colors. So let's go back to our schematic here. So we're wiring up the Apple IIGS part, the side of it, right? So that's this Apple IIGS video connector. So we need the red ground and red video. So red ground is going to be, you'll see in a second, the shielding that's around the red wire. So I'll show that in a little bit. But it's not that much different than what I just did for the entire shield, the entire cable. Composite video, I guess so. I guess we can have composite video. And I think traditionally composite video is yellow? So there is a yellow unshielded cable here. I might use that for composite video, but I'm not sure if that's going to make a big difference. But anyway, so there are a bunch of other, so like the thick cables are the shielded cables for the RGB lines, obviously. But the VGA cable also has a bunch of other, I'm trying to straighten them out here. It has a bunch of other cables that are in it that are not shielded, so these ones here. So those are kind of free reign for us to kind of do with what we want. And like I said, I'm probably going to use yellow for composite video, but we need other ones too. So we have, this one's no connection, which is fine. So green video and green ground. -5 volts we don't do anything with, so we can leave that unconnected. Actually, you can see what they're going to match to over here on the side. the positive 12 volts, though, we are going to connect one of the, so maybe voltage for red, so maybe I'll use red for that, for voltage. Then obviously the blue video and the blue ground, and then we've got sound, which it sounds like is mono 2 and 6. Okay, so yes, we're bridging this audio basically. So I guess we'll take one connector from, or one wire, so that'll be another one of these wires. So maybe brown or something for the audio. Oh, I see. Composite video. Oh, never mind. I composite sync is what I was looking for. Okay, so composite sync is a wire. That's okay. So that doesn't bring composite video along. Although I guess you could use, in theory, right? You could use composite video as sync. And that way, if you wanted to, you can actually use this cable to, if the Apple IIGS connector outputs composite, you could also get composite through this wire as well, in the blue. So basically, the only things we care that much about that are kind of special besides RGB are the positive 12 volts, the composite sync or composite video, and that's it. And sound, which is mono. Okay, cool. Yeah, thanks, Cooper. Go ahead. Sure, that'd be good. Okay, so I guess let's start. I guess we'll start with the thick cables because the thinner cables will be easier to wire. And I guess let's get the lay of the land here. So if we look on this side here, so pin 1 and 2 is for red ground is 1, and then red video is 2. Okay. Then 4 is no connect. So we're going down this line here. 4 is what? 4 is no connection, so we don't care about that one. 5 is composite sync. No, it's not. Oh, never mind. Let me go back. 1 and 2. 1 is red ground. 2 is red video. 3 is composite sync. 4 is no connection. We don't care about that. 5 is green video. 6 is green ground. 7 is negative 5 volts. We don't care about that. 8 is 12 volts. We care about that one. Now we skip over to the other side. We have 9 down here, which is blue video. 10 is not connected. 11 is audio. 12 is composite video. Then we finally have blue ground. That's crazy. So 8 and 13 over here are that's for blue video. And then 14, 15 are no connects, and then we need our ground is going to be this this thing here, the shielding thing. So, yeah, let's. You know what? This is kind of bothering me. Let me get rid of these. I don't have this on the other end, anyways. I mean, I already cut it, so I'm going to cut it on this end too. This cable is going to take me like 3 hours, isn't it? Okay. Okay, almost there. Okay. We can go like that. Okay, see you later. All right, so, and then that's going to live in here. I suppose that we could do that now. We can like screw it down now, but I don't know. I guess we can wait a little bit. Yep. Okay, so let's start populating this side of it here. So that means we need red video. Okay, so let's get the red video. And we kind of need to do the same thing. If this is going to live over here, I need to do... What's pin 1? Oh, pin 1 is red video. Jesus. Okay, well, this is going to be annoying to bend this very tight, but we could do it. Something like this, right? Because this will have to go right here. Keep in mind, we do have the screw posts that need to go in through it as well. Yeah. So, how's the Neptune going? Yeah, it's going okay. I mentioned in the beginning that I have all my donor. I'm mid filming it, so I have all the components. The basically. So I followed the in the GitHub project. There's like these kind of like steps of order of operations, I suppose, and it kind of leads you to build the power circuit first. Then the 5-volt power circuit. I mean, so like the barrel jack comes in 9 volts, and there's a 5-volt regulator there. Then there's a 3-volt regulator from the Neptune, or the 32X, that's here. Then the last step is kind of, or the last introductory step, I suppose, is hook the region pick up to the RGB LED and get that working with the reset button. So that's kind of step one, is like get that working, get the voltage stuff working. Then it's kind of open season. It doesn't really give you that much direction as far as how to start doing it. So the way that I've been doing it is donor chips first, so on both sides, because it's a double-sided board. And then I will be doing the bird seed, which is the all the SMD caps and resistors, like the just the passives, really. Then I'm going to be doing probably all the other donor parts, so the crystal, these EMI, whatever these are, things here, the cartridge, or the controller connector, the cartridge connector, all stuff that needs to get grabbed from the Genesis board. As well as some other interesting things. So like this diode here, which is for a specific, if you have this chip here, this is all going to be in the video, but this 3155818A, if you have this, if this is an A, then that means it's a SCA chip, which means that you'll have to copy or bring over a diode. Anyways, yes, it's coming. Just kind of a lot. Taking a very long time. And thankfully, other people in the Discord are working on it. So, yeah. Cut the red wire. Nice. Yeah, pretty much. All right, so yeah, I do need to get rolling with this stupid cable. It's probably going to take me like more than this video to get. Maybe we won't be able to do the thing. The only thing with the consoles for you, I think that somebody mentioned. So there's two things I have to say about the consoles for you. I believe somebody mentioned, maybe did they get it from consoles for you? Maybe. I think that you have to make sure that you're not the region specific components are the proper region. Somebody said they bought one from someone. I don't know if it's consoles from you or whatever, but they got one and they live in an NTSC region, and it was already pre-populated for PAL. So that's the first thing. And two, their board is pre-populated with the capacitors, the tall capacitors, so they might get in the way if you're trying to solder the donor components. So yes, I think you're probably wise to wait. But yeah. All right, so we have to do this stupid cable. Maybe it's worth sort of making it a little bit longer so that I can get the screw thing in there still. Okay, so I'm going to go maybe about there. I'm going to cut it. Let me get my side cutters here. Okay, so then we're going to need to do the sheathing. Do I have my big... Okay, if we look inside, you actually notice that there is an insulator. Right, so there's the red sheath. Then you have this white thing. And then you have the actual cable is in the center of the white thing. PAL is always your friend. Is not always your friend. Well, especially if you have an NTSC donor board, it's not compatible. So, let me see here. And you know what? I'll probably do the old this thing, whatever this is called. So I think I want to give myself like a little bit. I think I'm okay with like a little bit of this. Okay, here. Okay, so pretty much the same thing I did with the outer sleeve sheath. I need to do the same thing with these red wires here. This is going to take a long time. I should have just bought the stupid cable. Whatever, I can say I made it. Not that that's important, but... It's almost off. I swear. Okay, sweet. So it's kind of the same thing. So we have these wires here. Then we have this, let me see this actually. Where's our ground? The ground is the first one, first pin. So actually I need to, I need to make sure that these little wiries are kind of going over here. Okay. All kind of living together. Okay, cool. And then you can also see that we still have this white inside part. So now is when I actually need my, these guys. I'm going to guess that this is probably a, it's probably like 32 gauge wire, the wire on the inside, but I could probably get away with like a 28. Let's try that. Can I get rid of the sheath without cutting the wire? Oh yeah, sweet. Okay, cool. So there is our conductor. That's the red. So now, can I do this without exploding everything? I need my my little thing here. Little thing is a screwdriver, apparently. Couldn't think of it. Okay, so then we can do this. I probably could pre-tin, or I could probably tin these wires, but let's just try without it. So these are just bare copper wires, right? So those are just gonna go right in here. Okay. And once it's in a good spot, sweet. Okay, one wire. Now the ground is going to have to go into the ground. Let me get a tweezer. Tweezers. Oh, brother. Yeah, okay. Let me, I'll do a little bit of this, Cooper, and then we can look at them. Wow, you built, so you have some cards you have set up? Okay. Sorry, my for whatever reason the autofocus is going ham. Okay, cool. Excuse me. So that's my red, the red. The problem is going to be getting all this crap in here. And later on. You know what? Maybe we can reserve that. I can reserve that for another time. Because I could just... Oh, no. See, that's the problem is now, like, I'm going to be able to pull these wires out. Yeah. I did not think about that. So does that mean I want to have, like, more of this sheathing, maybe? Or more of this. All right, maybe I can do that. More of that. I don't know what's better. Well, I mean, I know you don't want to ground your color wire, but I might end up actually soldering that so that it just stays together better. But I also think that I want more of this as well. Okay. Okay. Cut the red. Oh, I see. You mean like cut it this way back here, you mean? Okay. Because I was kind of hoping that I could sort of maintain the thing, but so you're saying that I should just cut it way back like here. Okay. All right, maybe that'll be better. Well, actually in that case, let me rethink this again. So I have it like that, then I can always just like cut the shield there and then just whoop, it can go right in the thing. This probably is way too much. Okay. Yeah, maybe you're right. So like to here. Sorry, I'm like trying to cut that. What did I drop on the floor this time? Tweezers. Now the problem is it's it's going to be really hard to get over the part that I just already did. There we go. Sweet. Cool. Okay, that might be a little better. So at least this part can be a little more flexible. The white part, so I can. Okay, that's probably better. Okay, so now I should be able to do like this, and then this is for ground, and then the white is the red. I probably should wire this up from the end too. Yeah, I grossly misunderestimated how long this was going to take. That's right. Okay, so that's the ground. That'll be the wire. All right, so that's fine. You know, I'm going to leave these kind of fully, I don't know, full length. I'm going to, basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to like prepare each wire sort of in line as I go down here. That way, and then like wire them all up at the end. Okay, so what's next? So we have red. It says to use composite sync, so I'm gonna just do that next. Not composite video. So I'm gonna use this yellow wire as composite sync, and that's probably gonna be one of the easier ones. Just like boom, right there, done. So let's go ahead and cut it. I'll leave a little bit of length, I suppose. Okay. How is this person making these cables for $30? That seems like a lot more effort. It would be easier just to build a some kind of PCB that just adapts it to SCART. Okay, so there's our long, janky composite video, or composite sync, sorry. All right, so now we have green. So green is also going to be over here. It's on what? On pin 5 and 6. Okay. So that is probably good enough for green. So let's cut it. Not cut my composite sync wire though. Okay. And I guess we'll kind of do the same thing. Okay, which one's first? No, video is first. Okay. So one thing I didn't really think about before was which side of the cable to like terminate this the shielding. So like, if one color, if I have a, the color signal comes first, then I want to make sure that the ground and the shielding part is on this side of it, so that when I do the signal, right, the signal comes first and then it's ground. Okay, then I could do this. Okay. All right, so those are green. We can always make that shorter or longer if we need to, or like cut more of it off, I suppose, if we want to. Okay, and then what else is on this side? The 12 volts. So that being said, what are we going to use for 12 volts? So we have our red, our composite video already. Oh, I said I was going to use red. This red signal wire for 12 volts. Okay. Okay, so my cable is here, and I need to go this way all the way down to what? 8. Okay, it's the last pin. Okay, so there. About there. Okay. And we can do this. I think what I might do actually before I start wiring all the things up is this connector has this little, it has a little part that clamps the cable down. So I might actually put the cable clamp in first before I actually wire the things up. That way it won't like come apart. All right, so those are the wires that I'm using already. This is the wires I have left. So I need to do, what's next? Now I guess the pins come back this way. Like, so 1 through 8 is on this side, like this direction, but now it comes back this way here. So this is 9. So that's blue video, but blue video and blue ground are kind of cray. They're like far apart. So if I kind of do one of these, yeah, that should be fine. But the shielding, so the blue video is all the way at 9, but the ground is at 13, which is in the middle here. So really like here, I can cut the shielding way back here. Let me know if you have to go or whatever, Cooper, and I can look at those photos. Okay. So then I said what? I said the ground is sort of on this side, so I need to do like this. Okay. There, and then, so that's that, but then I can go probably here with the video part. Okay, so thankfully that's the end of at least this side's color wires, so the rest should be pretty easy. So what do we have left? We have audio. Oh, oh yeah, audio. Yep. So what do we want to use for audio? What color? That's right. Yeah, I did see that. Apple II HDMI is one. There's also a VGA one. Yes, I saw those. I did watch. You should watch the Adrian's Digital Basement video about, or there was like a recent one where he talked about that project. Apparently, the open source versions of that adapter where you can actually like build it. He mentioned something about the DVI or like the HDMI lines need some kind of like a specific route, like the traces need to be routed a certain way, and there was like resistors or something that needed to be shaped a certain way, like physically on the board, and the existing open source one did not do it a certain way, and this other person that he knew designed a better one, but it's not open source. So I'm all for building the open source one, and I would like to do that because then you could just have HDMI instead of this mess. But yeah, I don't know. It may not make a big difference for this small resolution. Yeah, so it will work in a 2GS, but it doesn't. I guess it doesn't support the 2GS modes or something. Yeah. Okay, so I don't know. What do we want to use? Like blue. Maybe we'll use blue for the audio. So the audio is on pin 11. So it's kind of way down here. So like right there. Excuse me. And then we can tin it or strip it. Okay, I think that we're okay to start the final assembly of this half. So what I would like to do is get the clamp. Get out the clamps. Get the clamp and clamp this cable down. And I'm actually curious how clampy are we talking about? I gotta get a screwdriver, flathead, or a Phillips screwdriver. Okay, so it goes something like, oh, it's wicked clampy. Okay, good, sweet. All right, so this is gonna basically take the strain off of this cable and off of when I'm actually screwing these wires in. Hopefully, it will give me some. It will help me with that. See, I got to try to not pinch all the wires. Okay, so let's get both of these screws on first, and then we can tighten it down. Let's see how clampy it is. Okay, it is very clampy. Okay, good. So now, now it's just a matter of actually wiring them up. And maybe I'll start on this bottom side because it seems like the less evil side. Also, I'm not really sure what to do yet about the extra wires because the VGA cable actually has more conductors than I need. Perhaps I might, put some electrical tape or something, or a heat shrink or whatever on this end of them so that they don't ever short out or something. Or maybe I could put them in the, I don't know, something with them. Just I don't really need them anymore, so maybe I'll just cut them off. But they can just hang out for now. But yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Maybe I should actually just, for these color wires, maybe I should just cut the ground back to here, and then keep them in the dielectric. I've heard that this is called, this white. Keep that over the next spot. Maybe that's the better way to do this. Although, this is fine. Okay, so let's see. This is the ground for this. Let's actually, what else do we have here? I guess it's probably wise to do them in order so that it's actually possible to do them all. All right, first is the ground, the cable ground, I guess. And this one is probably too long, definitely too long. So let's get this undone first. And then we can cut it to length. And then shove it in. Oh God. Don't know if this is actually going to fit into the clampy. That's interesting. What am I going to do about that? Well, did not think about the ground being too thick for the little. Okay, let's try it again. Oh, gosh. Get in your home. Too good for your home? Okay. Maybe I can like cut this, like angle it a little bit maybe. Okay. Okay, there we go. Yep, much better. Okay, good. Okay, so just cut a little I don't know, spear out of it. Sweet. All right, so there's our ground. All right, so what's next on this side? Blue ground is 13. So we need blue ground here. Let's lay that in there. Okay, blue ground goes here. We don't need quite as much length. Sure. These grounds actually seem less long. What did I say, 13? Oh, geez. Okay, maybe it is way too long. Okay. Okay, this goes in here. Okay. All right, that's 13. That's blue ground. Got it. Okay, shove the blue in there. Okay, so now what? Audio. Actually, let's not shove that in yet. I was going to use the blue wire. Actually, maybe that's, now that I'm thinking about that, maybe that wasn't a good idea. But it's already been done, so YOLO. Audio sound is 11. Composite video is 12. Okay, so my audio wire might be too long. By a little bit here. Okay. Okay, let's trim it a bit. Okay. What did I say, 11? Okay, so let's loosen 11. Okay, and then we tighten it. Just don't want any of the sheathing in there. Okay. All right, so that's audio, sound, which is 11, and then the last one on this side is 9, which is the blue video. Oh, yeah, so actually what I did, let me show, you know what, let me finish this, I removed the battery already. I forgot to mention that actually earlier when I was talking about the, what I had done to it already. So I will show you what I did, and I got this idea, I don't remember exactly where I got it from, but, yeah, you'll see. Well, I guess I'll just tell you, but I can show you also. Apparently, where did I put that? Oh, I know where I put that. It's over here. I'll just talk about it. I'm not going to take it all apart again. Oh, I actually have a battery too. So I actually have a, I have a Power Mac G4 Actually, it's the mirror disk drive version, which is the last version of the Mac that can run OS 9. So I have these lithium batteries. They're like 3.6 volts. Oops, you can't see that. 3.6 volts, right? The battery in the Mac, the 2GS, I think is close to this. Actually, I have it right here. This Varda, it's 3 volts, I guess. It's a Varda. Oh, you guys can't see shit. Took it out of the thing. Thankfully, it hadn't leaked yet, so there was no corrosion on the board. Because Vardas are like known to kind of leak. So I cut it out, and it's 3 volts lithium, and it's this half AA form factor. That's what this is called. So they make axial ones, obviously. That's what this was. I cut it out and I desoldered it, and actually I put in one of these batteries. It's another lithium 3.6 volt. It's the same exact battery as this, actually, just it's already in there. And I bought a battery holder, so a half AA size battery holder, and I soldered that in. So that is what's in the Apple II now. It destroyed most of the classic PCs. I know, that's why I'm like, anytime I see them, I like, yeah, I don't know. I just want to collect every vintage computer ever. I think that's one of the reasons why I like go so hard on them now, is because I know that they're like, a lot of them are just time bombs and they're just going to go to waste. Anyway, so I put that battery holder in there. And a newer battery. You know, I don't know if those batteries leak either. I mean, is it just Varda brand, or is it like, you know, I was not, so I also have a pinball machine at my parents' house, and the pinball machine that it's from 82, and they used AA batteries on the back box PCBs. That's what keeps the score. It keeps, when you turn the power on and turn it back on again, that's what the batteries are what keep the score. And my parents, when my dad bought that pinball machine, it worked great. It worked awesome. It was like a really fun game to play. I mean, it wasn't a popular game. It's Firepower 2 is the game. Not a very popular game. Firepower 1 is more popular than Firepower 2. Anyway, so the problem was the AA batteries had leaked. The alkaline batteries had leaked on the PCB, and it stopped working. And I think at the time, like, if I had known that, if like we had known that, all we would have to do is replace the batteries and the game would have worked again. But because it didn't work, we never played it again. We never fixed it. We never played it again. And it just sat in my parents' basement, and then they moved to a new house, and they moved it to that house, and it didn't work. So it was just sitting for years and years and years, probably, I mean, up until recently. But, you know, we had it probably 20. It's been in at my parents' house for like 20 years. So I was like, okay, semi-recently, last couple of years, I was like, damn, you know what, I'm going to try to fix this pinball machine. So I took the pinball machine back, I opened the back box, you know, opened up the thing, and there are multiple boards in the back box, but the most important one is like the computer board. The battery sockets were on that computer board, and it just corroded the entire board. So if we had known at the time that all we had to do was replace the batteries, or, you know, if we had known to take them out or whatever, that pinball machine probably would have worked again, even then. But what I had, basically, I had no alternative but to buy. There's a big community of people that reverse engineer the original. It's a Williams brand. So people reverse engineer the Williams schematics, and they reproduce the boards. So that pinball machine has entirely new. Every PCB almost that's in there is new, and it worked for a while. Actually, it worked for a few weeks, and then because I don't live with my parents, one day they said, "Oh, it stopped working," and then I believe it is a switch failure. A switch had failed somewhere, and it's it's keeping it from initializing. So yeah, they can all leak, but that style that is Varda, and they leak pretty easily. Oh, okay. Yeah, I figured it probably would be easier to build a VGA adapter, you know, just like a PCB. Probably would be easier than this, but yeah. All right, so that's the right side here. Let me flip it over, and we're going to work on the left side here. Working kind of the same way, sort of down this side here. So I believe first up is red ground and then red video. So red ground is like this. So let's open this sucker. Oh, it is. Open this sucker. So yes, some year. Hopefully soon. I mean, I want to fix that thing. It has completely new boxes or PCBs now. So the problem is either a wiring or like a physical switch problem that's keeping it from initializing. So I just have to like, you know, I don't physically have it. It's not at my house. So step one is to like move it to my house. And then I have to figure out how to actually diagnose that. But yeah, that's if you have old electronics that have alkaline batteries, don't, or take them out. Okay, so that's red ground. Hey, Ian Scott, how you doing? Okay, I probably... Yeah, this is probably fine. Oops, maybe that's too long. Yeah, there we go. Man, I really want to buy a new pinball machine, because if you ever get a chance to play a newer pinball machine, do it, because newer pinball machine, if you like pinball, I suppose, newer pinball machines are absolutely crazy with how good they are. With like, well, you know, I mean, I'm sure not all of them are going to be for everybody, because I mean, they're kind of like themed, but just the gameplay, it's just like, if you know anything about old pinball machines, like, you know, kind of the rudimentary style where you like, you know, you hit a thing and then that gets you in a mode, and then you have to like earn points by hitting stuff, and then the mode runs out of time or whatever. Like, that's just how old pins work. And like, not like I'm an expert or anything. I haven't played that many, but every time I go to a retro convention or something and there's pinball machines, I try to play, because it's fun, and there's not really that many places around me, at least, that that have working pinball machines. But like the newer ones are absolutely, like, I think I played the Deadpool game, the newer Deadpool game. Holy cow, it's so cool. And they have like vibration, video, there's like matching videos. So like if you get in certain modes, like a video will play in the back, like a FMV kind of plays in the background. It's like insane. God, what is happening with this red? I probably should but yeah, it's definitely, even if you have like the slightest interest in pinball machines, highly recommend that you play a newer one. Anyways, the reason why they're extremely expensive, I mean, we're talking how the newer pinball machines work is there's usually like a basic version of the game, and then there's like a high-end like collector's edition of the same game, but it's just like a higher quality bot, like the actual cabinet is higher quality. And some of those collector edition ones can go for like $10,000 for a pinball machine. It's crazy. So I don't have $10,000. Like, you'd have to take a loan out to freaking buy a pin. It's crazy. It's so fun. I mean, it's like there's nothing like it. I mean, video games are fun, but yeah, nothing compares to that. It's just such a physical thing. All right, so that's red and green. Or no, sorry, red ground and red video. So now we're on to composite sync, which is 3. So let's get our, I think I chose what, yellow for that one? Let's take our yellow. And some of them are like networked. So like there's like global high scores. It's crazy, like the features. It's like it's really cool. Like I'm surprised that they're not more popular. I mean, I guess they kind of died in the 90s, but and I guess they're just not accessible. They're just expensive and like they require a lot of maintenance and things. I mean, maybe the newer ones don't require that much maintenance, but at least old ones, if they're not maintained well, you know, they require constant sort of upkeep and somebody knowledgeable in how to do that. So, but it's so worth it and so fun. All right, so no connection is 4. All right, finally we're on to green video, and then lastly is what, 12 volts, and then we're done with 1/2 of this damn cable. Crazy. I wicked underestimated how long this was going to take me. Oh well. It is what it is. All right, so what did I say? Green, what was first? Green video is first, and that's 5. Okay. So let's, yeah, I understand. I mean, I don't think, I mean, it's hard to, you can't really, unless you really dedicate your house really, or like a basement to pinball, that you really can't like have more than one machine. But I think it would be freaking awesome. I mean, that's a life goal. I mean, that's a dumb life goal to have, but I want to have a nice, good working pinball machine, like in the basement here somewhere. Like that's just something I have to have it. I have to do it. I'm not gonna go into debt really. I hope I'm not gonna go into debt. Maybe in the future, I don't know, get a brain virus or something that'll force me to do that. But yeah. It's definitely goals for sure. Okay, so 5 is green, the green signal. I actually may want to, I don't know, use less of this. I don't know. I feel like that green one is going to cause me grief, but all right. So then it's 6 is the ground. Okay, let's unscrew it. Hey, that looks not too bad, huh? Looks pretty professional. I guess I would be curious to see what that guy's internals look like. Okay, then when I said the last one was 12 volts, which is 8. So 7 is -5, and 12 is 8 is 12 volts. So let's get that guy in there. Excuse me. Jeez, I always like burp a lot on these streams. Sorry about that. I think then maybe we'll take a little break. Oh gosh, I think the other side is probably going to be slightly easier, but I don't think I'm going to have time for tonight. Sweet. Okay, then we get this down there. Yeah, at this rate, I would probably charge somebody like $50 for this or more. This would take probably a good solid two or 3 hours. You would have to make some kind of, like, to do it. Oh, man. I think that this is still fine. It's starting to kind of wiggle out here. Let me just, can I like roll this in here for a second just to see if this closes? Yeah. I don't love it, but there's a lot of space around the edge here. I'd have to come up with some kind of way to fill the gap, because I don't think this this thing alone is not really cutting it. And I can't really, the problem is I can't really push it closer unless I cut more of the wire off. I don't know. I don't know what to do. Maybe I'll put some hot glue or something in it to like fill up more of the gap. I don't know. It'll be fine. It should be fine to test it when I eventually finish this bastard. But okay, so let's take a break, mini break. I don't think I'm going to be able to finish the other side tonight, but oh no, hello. Can you guys see me again? Hello? Hopefully, did I go back live? That was weird. I must have hit my keyboard and it ended the stream or something. Okay. I'm trying to guess what all these cards are, and I'm not really sure. Okay, so first off, let's see. This is probably, what, is this a 2+? Let's see, do you have a picture of the case? Whoa, CFF, okay, that's what it is. The CFFA 3000. This card is like, isn't this card like $150 or something? Let's see, is there more pictures of the case? Wow, is this a aftermarket case? I'm unfamiliar with Apple IIs that don't have a badge. Oh, I see, it's an Apple IIGS? I don't really know. I'm not sure. I thought they always had badges here, but the keyboard actually is pretty, it looks newer as well. Interesting. Is this like a platinum? What are those called? Apple II Platinum? Oh, it's a Stealth 2GS. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. Huh. Is this yours from then, or is this just one that you bought? Because I remember I watched 8-Bit Guy. But even then, the 8-Bit Guy's one was what? It goes into 2E or something, and the badge was in a weird spot. So maybe this is like an upgraded case or something. I see you have the cool 3.5-inch disk drive. Oops. Yeah. Anyway, so as you can see, you can kind of go crazy with cards and things. Pretty cool. I think. I mean, so far it's been interesting just to learn about it a little bit. So yeah, I like it. I'll have to. I'm curious about what all these things are. Is this a USB port or Ethernet keyboard? Oh, that's just the totally custom build using an original 2GS conversion using an LLE Platinum top. Oh, okay. So it is a 2E Platinum. Dang, cool, very cool. Yeah, so I at least got have a SCSI controller coming. So if I wanted to use something like Blue SCSI, so I think the other, so okay, I have more things coming. I have a Amiga 500 coming. I would like to get a Mac Probably an SE, not an SE30, but I've heard that SEs are very reliable. So like the actual, you know, luggable, I guess, with the built-in CRT. I want one of those Macs. And I believe those have SCSI connectors on them. So if I got blue SCSI, I would be able to use the blue SCSI with both, you know, the Mac and the PC. But I'm excited. Well, I really wanted a 1200, but 1200s are like, on eBay right now, the 1200s are like $800 to $1,000, and I just don't have that kind of money. Yeah, I heard about the CFFA 3000. That's like the, excuse me, like the like a floppy drive emulator or like a clone card or something. Ethernet. What the heck? Oh, it's an accelerator. Okay, that's cool. There's an accelerator on there. Oh, I think I see the. Is this the accelerator? This might be the accelerator card here because I see. I don't know what I see. What is this chip here? Ethernet. What the heck is Ethernet? Is that just like a Ethernet card or something? And I know that there's like, well, I don't know. If this is a 2GS, I don't know why you would need the, like, I think original Apples or like Apple IIGS maybe even. Or the Plus. I don't know which order they came. Maybe it was the Apple II Plus. Those ones you actually needed a mod to have lowercase letters. Oh, a VGA card. Wow, what the heck? So that's an original VGA, Apple VGA card? That's crazy. Wow. Ethernet card. You can load files from the network. Nice. Mockingboards. Oh, okay. Mockingboard support for the... Wait a minute. Apple II Pico, you say? That's cool. Is Apple II... Okay, so it went Apple II, then 2 Plus, then 2E. Okay, so 2 Plus was the second one, yeah. I think the 2E had the built-in lowercase support. The Apple II Pico... What is Apple II Pico? Apple Pie! Nailed it. Is this an internal thing you're working on? Frozen apple pie. What in the world? Maybe I should Google what you actually said. Apple II Pico. A2 Pico. What is this? Software defined. Okay, so it's just a generic peripheral card. This seems like this is the way that a lot of these devices are going. Like, you just get a Raspberry Pi Pico, expose the pins on the bus, and then let developers come up with what it actually does. That's cool. Man. That's cool. I like it. So, all right. So, what else can it currently do? Let's see. You know what? I'm gonna bookmark this because I'll have to do it on my upstairs computer. I'm always looking for open source projects to build. Yeah, for just sponsored things. But it's not only to get the sponsor money. It's kind of like it does a bunch of things for me, right? So I get the sponsorship money. I get to build the really cool thing, and also like they pay PCBWay pays for the PCB. So it's kind of like 3 birds with 1 stone. That's why I love it. So yeah, this is great. Let's see. Is there a list of things it can do? Oh, okay. So I see you'd have to go find the GitHub project. All right. So RetroNet, IO, RPI, ApplyCard, Bad Apple. Oh my God. Oh, what is this? I thank you, Ian, for. Oh, it's all by this one person, Oliver Schmidt, or they're on their thing. What is Soft SP? What is Apply? Oh, this is a card that you can use to get CPM working. Ah, I got it. Interesting. It emulates a Z80 CPU. That is freaking sweet, dude. Holy hell. Okay. All right, so I'll have to I'll have to build one of these because I'm super intrigued now. Dang. The Apple. Oh, okay. So this is a software defined Apple card based off. So it's based off of this thing here. Oh yeah. Okay. Well, maybe I was wrong. In the beginning of the stream, I was saying that it seemed like retro computer people, or the projects in the retro PC sphere are they're more for pay and not like open source really. But I guess I was wrong because now I just discovered that there's so many of them. That's cool. Dang. I have to swing back around for my my Pico Gus because I have to check out what is it, Sound Blaster support. But I heard that there's gonna be a version. Did somebody say? Where did I hear that there was gonna be an updated version using the newer Raspberry Pi Pico 2 chip, whatever, to do the Sound Blaster 3 or whatever it was. It's both. Oh. Most that sell try not to overcharge. Yeah, I guess it's kind of hard because there's kind of two ways to think about it, right? So like, one, if you want to stay, and I know we're kind of veering off like very recently, like as far as like, or as soon as like this Raspberry Pi Pico based software defined card stuff has become a thing. It's kind of we've hard veered away from this trend. But if you still want to like kind of stay with like original hardware, like, you know, okay, let me I still want like a disc controller card, and I want to have like, even if it's like a dongle that sticks out the side, right? Like, I want to have it go into the disc interface instead of like, oh, I have this one little card like this that could do everything. You just plug it in and like never open again. So I could see kind of both ways of doing it. Oh, next gen Pico Gus based on the Pico 2 chip. Where did I hear that? Did Adrian talk about that or something? Original hardware is in excellent shape, will cost. And that's kind of where, like, even if you had somebody who did, like, let's say they designed an open source SCSI card, like, that's not going to be free, right? So that alone might be, I don't know, $60, $70 or something. Then you have to buy the blue SCSI on top of that. So it's not like you can't really get up and running like that. The X Drive card that I've got is like, that was like the cheapest way that I could find to get it booting, like get something booting in the thing, because there was no expansion cards. There was the memory expansion card was in there, but no disk controllers or anything. Although I know the 2GS has a built-in boot card. He might have mentioned it at some point. Yeah. So, anyways, I think that's cool. Well, you know what? I'm probably gonna leave it here for tonight because, you know, I probably will do this in my free time. I probably won't save it for another stream. The other end, we need to do the resistor divider, or the two-way, I suppose, resistor divider. Is there a way for me to like push this up here more? Because if I could just like, it would make me feel a little better if this was just like clamped. Sorry, you guys can't see what I'm doing, but okay, that's a little better. It probably will slide out in time, but really what I would have to do is like, I don't know, something. Cut more of the shielding back so that I can really shove this guy in harder. Because the clamp really does work well. It's just the bend radius is really just not cutting it. It's not the little wires, it's just like the big wires. So, because then, in theory, I have to take these. Shit. In theory, then these guys come through, right? The actual screws. So you really can't, I guess it's fine. It does kind of look silly, but I don't know. Maybe that fixed it. Maybe I can leave it like that. I'm still undecided about what I want to do with the extra conductors. I like the fact that they're in there, so maybe I'll just try to bundle them up because there's tons of room in here. I'll have to just bundle them up and shove them in there. All right, let's see. Tiny Llama 3 board. What? Hold up. Tiny Llama 3, is there anything about, let's see. See, my problem, I would love to have a Tiny Llama, or an ITX Llama board. I would love to have one of those in the case that comes with it, whatever, but that, like, the bare minimum to get started with that, with, like, I mean, it does have everything in it. I think it does have, audio, has video output. So it kind of has everything, and I think it does it even have a disc, some kind of a built-in, what is that called? XT IDE or something like that. It's like $400, which I'm not like, I know none of you have any control about that, but like, if you're wise with your eBay eyes, like if you're scouring eBay, you could get an equivalent kind of used machine for like half of that. Probably $200. You could get a used Pentium 2 or something for the same, in the same class. And if you're lucky, even luckier, it'll already have a video card, sound card. The only thing you would have to add is like a XTIDE, or not XTIDE, but like I don't know, one of those IDE to CF or IDE to SD adapter things like that. That's it. That's all you would need. So like that's my problem, is there are used machines that you could get that you probably should get instead. I do like that the form factor is small. Like that's the other drawback of having a full sized case, is that they're huge. But yeah, it's just a lot of money. But I really do feel like we're kind of in this this golden age of reverse engineering things, and from that standpoint, I love it. Right? It's basically like documentation, right? So having this ITX Llama project is documentation in a way, and just having more cards reverse engineered, even if they're in FPGA form, that's good for everyone, for future generations and people when like original hardware is almost all gone. But I still think that it's the end goal. What I would like the end goal to be is not something like Mister, where like Mister is like, you turn it on and you don't have to think about it, you don't have to configure anything. You're not like holding something that's supposed to mimic original hardware. But like, the Neptune, like this is a real, I mean, even though it does use the new chip, so like even if somebody made a physical board that's like this, but it had an FPGA on it, I would find that more interesting and better for future generations than the Mister. Even if this kind of board with an FPGA on it could also do everything that the Mister can as far as playing retro games and things, at least you are getting the similar kind of look and feel. Like it's a physical, I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but I think I appreciate that. And maybe I am on team, have the original hardware, but then maybe you have like a clone disk controller or a SCSI controller or something. So like at least you're doing something, like you're making some new thing. So this now that this Neptune, assuming that the chips don't go bad, this is a new thing that will exist in 2025 and will have this even further lifespan than the original Genesis stuff. I don't know. Yeah, hey CEO. Do not use CF. Oh, I know. I use the SD to IDE ones now. And actually, I 3D printed a bracket so that I can just drop in that SD to IDE adapter in any computer. So I'm waiting for one of those to come from AliExpress. But yeah, I do agree with the CF cards because it's actually hard to find the CF cards that work as discs. So there's like two different types of CF cards. One is like for digital cameras. The other is, I don't know, it's like this disc mode or something. Not every CF card that you buy nowadays can work as a disc. So that's the downside of CF. Whereas SD, those are simpler, right? They don't have that limitation as far as I know. So they work more easily nowadays. And going forward, obviously SD is still popular now. Neptune with FPGA on it is happening. Yes, yeah, I heard about that. Yep, you're right. Golden age of retros now. Well, I guess what I mean is, yeah, you're right. There has been no better time for all these things to align, right? So you have plenty of options for FPGAs, different brands, different levels of power, right? So you have something like Mister or beyond Mister, like Mars, which never it kind of evaporated, but it was meant to be this like next generation Mister, right? So that's going to be coming. Somebody's going to have this next generation Mister in the future, right? So you have tons of options and tons of developers, like people developing FPGA. So that's step one, I suppose, is like golden age of FPGA development. That's kind of one. Step two is you have all these options for reverse engineering things, or like people that are kind of like not to say that it's easy to like transistor level reverse engineer stuff, like people that decap ICs and they go through each of the transistors and they kind of document things that way. But like that's the kind of thing that is like, I'm not going to say it's popular, but it's probably easier now than it's ever been. I don't really know that for a fact, but there are people that have the motivation to decap things. Yeah, and that's kind of like, in the future, I would like to see things like decapped processors, right? So like decap a 286 or a 386 or 486, all these generations. So that way you can actually say, okay, I have this transistor. Maybe it doesn't really matter that much because we are talking about what, like sub 100 megahertz processors. So you can software define that all day long, and and this is what we've been talking about, like the shortcuts. And I don't see that in a mean way or like a negative way, right? Because the shortcuts, it doesn't really matter because the end result is like from the black box of FPGA, the pins, the pinouts, like the way that the logic works is functionally equivalent, right? So that's fine. So you have people doing that kind of testing, like all the inputs and outputs of the chip and like the behavior of that, and kind of mimic that with FPGA. And then you just, then it's only going to, like, availability of original hardware is only going to get worse. So I think that also kind of motivates people, especially like I don't do really any development. I would like to, in the future, I would like to do more development of just anything, right? That's why CO, I'm kind of trying to get the show on the road with the, this thing. I know this is as basic as it gets for a hardware electronics project, but the USB to PS2 thing, right? So like that's kind of my first step, is to try to do this. So just, I don't know, just trying to get my foot in the door with hardware stuff. And so it's just, there's no, I don't know. I think there's been no better time than now as far as projects and things. March not evaporate. No, I know. I mean, I don't care one or the other. Like, there's some people that want that project to die or whatever. Like, if you're a Mr. fanboy, you probably want that project to die. But I don't care. I really don't care, one or the other. But, yeah, let's see. Golden age of retros now. We have very cheap electronics. Yep, sub $10 low density FPGA. And just the overall support of companies, like I know I'm shilling them, like they sponsor me, but if you watch other retro, hundreds of other retro YouTubers, PCBWay sponsors like probably 100 people, maybe not that many, but there has been a lot of like, sub 100,000 follower YouTube channels that I just discover periodically. They're sponsored by PCBWay, so like they really do support a lot of creators, which is cool. And yeah, so it's just the prevalence of this like relatively cheap PCB manufacturing definitely helps a lot, I think. If you ask me, the Neptune project you're building is the pinnacle of DIY projects. Yeah, I mean, you could say the same thing about Micro 8088, even though that project is from 2013, the Micro 8088 project. So like that's over 10 years old. But just the fact that somebody could have designed that 10 years ago, and you could still get most of the parts, and like it works, it still is around, right? So it's like it can only go up, I think, right? I would love to see a Micro 286 like actual new PCBs. Not to say they don't appreciate your excuse me. Not that I don't appreciate the single board Pentium build, right? Like this is fascinating for different reasons, right? Like the fact that some industrial company needed this, because this is newer than the Pentium. I don't know, is there a date? Are there date codes on these chips maybe? Just trying to see when this was built. Well, the BIOS is from 1998, so maybe it is that old. But anyways, like the fact that somebody had, somebody made this pretty much all-in-one PCB other than the backplane for power, like it's just fascinating to me. I love things like this. Just absolutely love them. And yeah, that's kind of the reason I do. One of the reasons I do the things that I do. Amicube, the Amiga clone. Oh, geez. The only problem with Amiga clones, well, unless it's FPGA, I know they're loaded with custom ICs, so that's the only problem. I do know that there's a lot of clone PCBs for the Amiga, like the 1200 or whatever, but to get all the chips. Actually, now that I think about it, let's say I didn't want to spend $1,200 or like $1,000 on an Amiga 1200, I probably could buy the chips and build one of the Amiga clones. That's an interesting idea, because people sell new cases, new keyboards. You could probably build pretty much a brand new Amiga 1200, other than having to source the original parts. I'll have to look at that, Cooper. Let me actually write that in here. Amiga Amicube. Oh, it's an FPGA. Oh, sweet. Okay, I see there's a video about a year ago. Okay, is there a project? I'll have to look for a project page. Cool. I'm glad that you told me about that. Thanks. So, to get a cheap Amiga, you had to fly to the UK? That's unhinged. Actually, tell me, Ian, is it better to have a PAL Amiga or an NTSC Amiga? Because my 500 that's coming is an NTSC, and I hope I don't, like, miss out. I was under the understanding that you could, like, there's some kind of software thing that lets you toggle between them, but maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, I was just saying, Cooper, that it would probably be cheaper to buy the original, like the custom ICs, just like somebody removed them from a board or like depopulated a board or something, to find and buy, because I know some of those custom chips are probably like $50 or $100, I'm sure. But to buy all the chips separately is probably still cheaper than getting a used 1200. Oh, the 1200 you can toggle between PAL and NTSC. Shit. Okay, I see. Damn. Okay, well that's fine. It is what it is. I got the wrong. That's fine. I mean, eventually, I think some year I would like to get a 1200, but for now the 500 is, it is what it is. Somebody is probably shaking their head. All right, I want to see what Belmont said. I think 3 generations from now, barely anyone will care about original hardware and just emulate it the easiest way possible. I think that you're right, but I think they'll have forgotten about it, right? And that's kind of why, because I mean, I guess you don't see that many like. I mean, I guess you do, right? Like Amish people, like horse and buggy enthusiasts, right? Like, are there horse and buggy enthusiasts where like they want to like preserve that technology and like, like try to get it to be more popular? I think that's like there's a twofold. In my opinion, I have like this twofold sort of like perspective of retro, right, and PC things. Like on one hand, it's for my own personal benefit, right, because I like to play the old games, and I'm also learning about things that I didn't like. I was born in '89, so like I was born after half of the computers that I own were built before the vintage computers. Half of the vintage computers, actually, the 2GS was built before I was born. Well, I have no knowledge of the Apple II. I didn't grow up in Apple II times like at school. I think one of my classrooms had an Apple II. I believe it was an Apple II, and I played, I think, like Oregon Trail or something on it. But I remember some kind of a computer at my library that I played this game Mickey's ABCs or something, and it might have been a Tandy. It was either a Tandy or some kind of an IBM, but I don't know why a library would have an IBM. That just seems kind of silly. So that's one hand. Like, so it's me learning about things, right, and stuff that I myself didn't experience. But it's also the other goal. I mean, and the overall goal of my YouTube channel is to grow. Like, it's kind of to spread the joy to other people, like introduce other people, and I think every YouTube kind of creator is trying to do that, right? Like Macho Nacho, Adrian's Digital Basement. So it's not like personal growth. It's not just personal growth. It's also like, I don't know, it's like a cringe thing, but like spreading the good news. Like, this is fun. Like this is a fun hobby for everybody to kind of live in and experience. So that's the other half of it for me is spreading it. It's not just keeping it within. It's like making it bigger and growing it. Never had an Apple II. The rich elementary school I went to had it. Had a fun educational program with snowballs and math problems. Yeah, Apple II, man, get on it. They're actually not that expensive, relatively speaking. Old PC tech is 2 generations behind. Well, it's probably like 1 generation. I grew up with a Pentium 1. That was the oldest computer that I grew up with. So like my parents' first computer, or the computer my dad first bought was a Pentium Pro too. I kick myself every day for recycling that computer. Like my mom didn't like make me recycle it, but like we thought we were doing a good thing because it was just collecting dust in my attic, my parents' attic. So we're like, oh, let's go recycle this computer to like help the environment. But then little did I know that was a pretty rare Pentium Pro gateway machine. I'll probably never see another one like that again, because they were kind of like not custom, but like I think my dad had to like ask for that one specifically. So, but I am loving, not loving it. I guess I don't love DOS, but like DOS. So for me as a kid, it was weird playing games, because I had, like, my dad had a friend named Jim. I told the story how my dad's friend Jim tried to get my brother into computers and helped my brother build it must have been a 486, or maybe it was like a lower power Pentium, because it wasn't as good as the the Pentium that we had. But anyways, but it had a weird effect that it actually got me interested in PCs and not my brother. My brother probably, he liked playing games, but he didn't like care that much about computers. That era, like 98 or Windows 95, 98, you could play, not obviously, but you could play DOS games or Windows games. So, you know, whatever, 6-year-old me or 7-year-old me trying to play Full Throttle. Full Throttle was a DOS game. I had to memorize the commands. So you had to restart into DOS in Windows 95. And then I had to remember to type, I think it was probably changing the directory to the C drive. Or no, I don't know, because we didn't have a it might have been drive B. What would a CD-ROM drive? That wouldn't have been A, because this computer had a floppy drive, which probably would have been the A drive. It had a hard drive, so that would have been the C drive. But I can't remember if it was on the disk, and so you had to load it from the disk. So that would mean you had to switch to probably drive B, if that was a disk drive, and then load the game from there. So basically, 6-year-old me had to memorize these commands that I didn't have any idea what they were actually doing. And it wasn't until probably last year. Last year was when I remembered that I had my dad's IBM AT. So that's the 286 IBM. So a little over, it was in January of last year. So it was a little over a year ago now. I got the motivation to get that computer working again, and actually got it booting into DOS and stuff. And like I kind of learned DOS on that computer. So it wasn't until like 2023 really that I understood the commands that I typed when I was 6 years old. So it was like over 20 years until I actually figured out what I was actually doing as a 6-year-old playing those games. So to me, that kind of blows my mind, and I love stuff like that. And so now I'm on this hunt to learn all the other things that existed. I would love to have an OS2 machine, right? I don't know if anybody had OS2. I know Windows 95 was kind of like that kind of exploded Windows into mainstream, but OS2 should have been the thing that exploded into mainstream. But IBM dropped the ball. So like there's all these other paths that I didn't take that now I'm super interested in and I need to learn more about it. So that's what prompted me. Like I have an 8088 machine now. I have a 286 machine now. The IBM is, or the IBM is a 286. I have several 386 machines. I have a 486 machine. I have several Pentiums now. I've got a Pentium 2, a Pentium 3. I don't really care that much about Pentium 4 because that was just when it kind of got samey, and Beyond is the same, But like, yeah, it's just fascinating. And now it's like, okay, I'm done with, not done, but like, I want to learn more about other things that are not just PC, right? So CO kind of kickstarted me to get the FM Towns. So the FM Towns, even though it's based on the 486 and the 386 processors, he was saying that it's not the same memory architecture. So it's like its own little world to discover and to mess with. So that's why I wanted to get one of those. And now I'm into Apple stuff now. So it's like, I love computers, man. Computers are great. Even though I don't understand them fully, right? Like Adrian has this next level understanding of like, okay, if I'm going to diagnose a problem, let me look at the schematics, but I also have to understand memory and how the memory maps work in order to diagnose certain issues. So there's so much knowledge. Absolutely. Yeah, just kind of mind-blowing. Oh, maybe it was D. It could have been D. sure. Yep. So it would have yelled at me if I didn't have the disk in the drive. But then it was like, it's interesting. I actually played Full Throttle in DOS, but I played Doom 95. So I played the Doom Windows client version. That was the first. I distinctly remember. And someday I actually, when I get around to making retro PC content for my channel, I want to make a video that it's like, these are the PC games that I remember playing. And I can just briefly, I know I'm like rambling. I could have been working on the cable, but man, I just get excited about it. So like I can't stop talking about it. So like the first PC game that I played, I think was Doom. Like the year that we first got that gateway computer, my dad's friend Jim, for Christmas that year, he bought us 2 games. He bought my brother this game called Necrodome, which is this like crazy gory game. And I guess Doom is kind of gory too, but like, so I'm like 6 years old at this time, right? Because that was like in 96. he got me Doom. So I played Doom when I was 6 years old, which was probably too young to play Doom. And my brother had Necrodome, which is like, it's just like a mature game where you like, it's kind of like Twisted Metal. Like you have this vehicle and it has guns and things, and you can go around and like shoot these different things. Like it's definitely not age appropriate for a 6-year-old to play that game. My brother's older than me. He was he was 8 probably. My brother was 8. So the 6 and 8-year-olds playing these hardcore because my dad's friend Jim was into PC games at the time. So those games came out in those years. Both those, well, maybe not. Doom 95 might have come out in 96, but Necrodome released in 96, so that was a new game that he bought. And then I remember playing those two games. I remember playing SimTown, not SimCity, but SimTown. Later on, I got SimCity 2000, and actually, we couldn't figure out how to get the audio working because the IRQs, like setting the interrupts or whatever, we didn't set it correctly. So we never had audio with that game. For the lifetime of me playing that game, I never had audio. Then I remember playing Tomb Raider. So that's how I played the original Tomb Raider, was on a PC. So just like all these, oh man, this is crazy. JPC used Q for CD drive. DOS used D for... Wow, Japan uses Q for the CD drive, like as a drive letter? That's crazy. Retro PC. Yeah, I don't know if it's greater than. I mean, just... Yeah, they're both great. Remember Shareware Doom? That's great. It took you to Sam's Club to get Doom 2 when it came out. That's crazy. Yeah. All right. I'm going to stop because I'll just be talking forever. But can you guys tell that I had coffee? All right. So I will probably finish the other. We didn't finish the cable. We got one end hopefully working. I can't really confirm that yet. The other end is where you would have to do the resistor, the voltage divider in the SCART head. So that's what I'm going to be doing offline, I think, is to get this working, and then I can finally test it. Oh, man. Yeah. Or I could have just bought that guy's $30 cable that he built himself. He talks what makes it so fun. I know, the problem, I mean, not the problem, but like, I don't do enough socializing about it, right? Like I talk on the internet and Twitter and like, so actually to me, that's kind of like the most unfortunate part about like Twitter, Blue Sky drama stuff, like surrounding that, is because to me, and I'm sure to many, many, many other people, Twitter and, I guess Discords, people's Discords, like that is the gateway for these people to talk about vintage, retro PCs or retro console stuff. Like that is one of the only ways that that people talk, that especially like I talk to other people. See, like all the people in this chat, pretty much. Like that's how we talk about it. Like I don't have a club. I had ideas like it would be cool if I started like a local retro club or something. Retro computer club or something. I don't know how popular it would be, but like I would love that because I want to like talk to people about it like nonstop. So I get what you're saying, Belmont, and that's kind of the driving force. And like part of the YouTube channel thing is I have to figure out how to harness it better. It's clear that I'm not harnessing it in a way that's making it more popular than it is, but the energy is there, and I'm focused on figuring it out. So yeah, I agree. So basically, yeah. Like getting caught up in the drama of, Elon Musk or whatever, or this or that, like that sucks. And like going onto Twitter and like, oh, what cool retro thing am I going to see today? Or like, what project is somebody going to talk about? What, whatever, like that. I like live for those moments that I'm going to find a cool new project. And that's why when I think Cooper talked about the Amicube or whatever, like, and then I think Ian talked about some other. Oh, the A2 Pico. Like, I never would have found that out by myself, ever. Well, I mean, maybe eventually I might have, but like, I only find out about these projects and want to do them because of other people on Twitter. So now it's like, oh, you're this or you're that or whatever. It becomes political if you use Twitter or whatever it is. Like, I hate that because for 10 years now, like since like 2016 when I first met or first learned about Bob. Retro RGB or whatever, when I first got into the hobby, it has been living on Twitter. Like that's where it lives. That's where, or mostly, and now and Blue Sky now. But like, I'm not like against using Blue Sky, but like that's the part that sucks because there's no other place really. So that's all. Discord hangout night would be fun. Too old for the drama. Yeah, that's the other thing I don't get. Like, who are these people that have time for this? Like, I don't have time. Like, I'm busy with those other things, and then I see people argue on Twitter. I'm like, it's like keep scrolling, but it's just it. Even if you don't engage with it, you still get. I still feel, me personally, I guess I can't really speak for everyone else, but like I still feel the negative vibes, right? I'm like absorbing the negative vibes in my body, and it's not good. Never changing his mind. Yeah, pretty much, exactly. Right? It's like people yell into the void and like get these internet points that make them feel better, I guess, as a person. But like if that's what makes you feel better as a person, is like winning some fake argument that you set up yourself, then I guess you do you. I don't know. Just can't. That's not my. If that's your hobby, I suppose, then that's fine. But like, that's not good for people's mental health. All right, I'm over it. All right. I don't know what we're doing next time. There's plenty of stuff coming next. Neptune, I'm still working on the video. The analog bridge should be coming in April sometime. I don't know. I don't think Dan's gonna let me just as soon as I get one, stream it. But I would like to stream the analog bridge. A couple of streams about the analog bridge, I think, when it comes out, because yeah, I think that's another project that's been unfortunately, yeah, I know there was the drama with Dan or whatever and Mike, and saying he was greedy or whatever, but like it's a project that has been sidelined, and I think it's unfortunate because of that. So all right. Yep, feel free to reach out on Twitter, reach out on Blue Sky, whatever. Just let me know about cool projects. Let me know what you're working on. If someone's listening to this and you're working on something, yeah, let me know, because I'm into it all and I want to spread it. I want to spread the love, the retro, whatever, retro computers, retro consoles, both of it. All right, take care, everybody.